Hi, and welcome to the Fairy Godmothers pod of wisdom and knowledge. Well, thanks for joining us today. Maybe you'll get some wisdom and maybe you'll get some knowledge. I'm Reverend Elizabeth Howell, and with me is...
I'm Reverend Cynthia, and I'm here to be the second banana today.
We have a bunch. We have a bunch of bananas. It's all good. But
It's a tough job.
you're also
Somebody's got to do it.
You're the godmother of snark. So,
Mayhem and snark. That is
mayhem and snark, absolutely. So we're coming into, I think this is our third or fourth podcast.
I believe it's the fourth. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So we're going to get started. Today we're going to talk a little bit about upcoming. We have, of course, there's Thanksgiving coming up, the end of November, and hopefully we've all gotten through Halloween and all the fun festivities. And of course, November 1st is considered the day, All Saints Day, which is we celebrate the saints. But it's also considered the Day of the Dead in Mexico and some South American countries. But the Day of the Dead and All Saints Day correspond with honoring the ancestors, honoring those that have passed over. I think we've become more familiar with it by watching that Disney movie Coco, which was made me cry. It was amazing, but I think that kind of set the tone for what All Saints Day and also the Day of the Dead is about. So we'll touch base on that a little bit. I'm going to jump into the cosmic traffic report for November, the first couple weeks of November, to get everyone caught up. So November 1st, we're going to have a new moon, and that will be in Scorpio. And on November 2nd, the planet Mercury will move into the sign of Sagittarius at, I got to put the glasses on, at 3:17 p.m. The planet of communication is Mercury, and it now moves into a more independent energy. Our humor should kind of heightened a little bit, and also be a little dry, and our thoughts may be more sincere. We may become impulsive with our words and our thoughts, and so we need to kind of be careful with what we say. And also, we might feel a little scattered with our thoughts and how we process information. There's definitely going to be an abundance of energy in your thoughts as well as tangents going on. So you may be finding yourself going in a different direction, lots of different directions at one time. It's best to keep our minds focused and direct during this time period. It'll be about 3 weeks. And
Shouldn't we really keep our minds focused and direct all the time?
Well, as much as you can. As much as you can. It's a good time to read, research, plan for vacations, plan for next year. It's a good time to write those things down. And we also might find ourselves drawn to more philosophy and religions and things like that. This aspect or this transit is going to be good for the Sagittarians. It'll be rough for the Geminis, and it'll be challenging for the Virgos and the Pisces. Now, on November 3rd, Mars, the planet of action, opposes Pluto. And Pluto, or planetoid Pluto, is the planet of endings, death, and changes, but not necessarily physical death. But this transit will affect basically the Cancers, the Capricorns, the Aries, and the Libras. And when Mars opposes Pluto, it may bring in some aggressive energy, like forceful energy to the day. People may be terse or agitated easily, and be careful of actual physical violence. People who are easily triggered may get more physical about, things, being angry. So we definitely want to keep ourselves in a calm space. Count to 10. Count to 10 when you're dealing with people. You also have to be careful of people doing out of the ordinary activity or doing things like driving the wrong way or on a one-way street. And definitely.
Don't we do that all the time?
Not all the time.
But nuts.
But we do want to watch people that want to, they want, you may want to just do what you want. So, I'm going to go up that wrong way street because I don't care. It also would it's a good time for people to just kind of focus inward a little bit on what is making you angry. Now, November 3rd also, Venus is going to oppose Jupiter at 20 degrees Sag and Gemini. So Venus will be in Sagittarius and Jupiter will be in the sign of Gemini. And this transit will bring in it will be kind of a charming energy, but also vain and kind of egotistical. And we may want to flirt, we may want to feed our egos, and we got to be careful with that because we may not be able to follow through with those desires. It also is a time that we may be challenging ourselves to stay positive in particular and not chase after dead ends, so to speak. So this will be a challenging aspect for the Sagittarians, the Geminis, and the Virgos and the Pisces. Also coming up, another November 3rd, is going to be a very active day. Mars at the end of the evening will enter into the sign of Leo at 11:09 p.m. So the planet of action will now move into a very generous kind of energy, dynamic. Leo energy is very, it's a fun energy. It's an energy where people may be more demonstrative towards their friends, their family, warm hugs. Let's care about our people. And you also may feel a tendency to have more stronger feelings about issues or events. It is a time for calling on more self-confidence when you're dealing with your career or public speaking, and to be careful of being too domineering or too egotistical when dealing with people in work situations or at home. So this will be a good transit for those people who are Leos. It'll be a little bit rough for the Aquarians and definitely challenging for the Tauruses and the Scorpios. Coming up, Venus is going to it's going to square Neptune on November 9th, and that's going to bring in some very extreme energy to the day, a lot of emotional exaggeration. It'll be a struggle between your intuition and your mental feelings. So let's be careful of deception on that day. You can be easily deceived. You can be pulled into a scam or something like that. So just be careful on November 9th. And be careful more than anything using drugs or alcohol in this kind of transit, because it can create, it can be a very bad day for people who are struggling with addiction. So kind of heads up on that day. So it's very challenging though for the Sagittarius, the Pisces, the Geminis, and the Virgos. So the other thing that we're going to look at here is definitely November 12th. Mercury is going to square Saturn. And that's going to be a bit challenging for the Sagittarius and the Pisces for sure. And this transit will bring in a very push and pull energy between traditions and also changing traditions. So we may reserve to be just throwing ourselves into work and dealing with our responsibilities, and adulting for that day might be a good aspect to do.
I'd say adulting's always kind of challenge for most of us.
It is. So, the biggest key to this transit on November 12th is basically who is in charge. There may be a lot of who is in charge here. I am. We have
nobody.
We might have a lot, right? Nobody. We might have a lot of captains at one ship. So this is definitely going to be a struggle for the Sagittarius, the Pisces, the Geminis, and the Virgos. So that's kind of the cosmic traffic report for the first couple weeks in November. And, November is a fun month. I mean, I think everyone does enjoy winding down and moving into late fall. We're going to get, not only have Thanksgiving, but gathering, traveling with family.
Yeah, and everybody's starting to get into the Christmas
Yeah.
line of thinking about stuff.
It would definitely.
You got the crazy people that have already got their Christmas shopping done, which has never been me, but they're out there.
They are. And there's lots of fun things and events start up in November. We want to remind everyone I am having a psychic fair November 3rd at the VFW Hall.
And you said there's a bunch of stuff going on November 3rd.
Yeah,
so
we're going
to probably be a good day to come out and get a reading.
Yeah, it will be. And so it catches at the VFW, and I will have upcoming a list of all the dates in 2025. So that's coming up too.
Cool.
So Thanksgiving, is a time of, the harvest. It represents, we bringing in the harvest, we're bringing in the corn and all the crops, we're putting them away, getting ready for winter, we're restoring things up. And a kind of a good representation for Thanksgiving is the turkey.
The turkey, gobble, gobble.
And
Yeah,
you tell us about the turkey, because I think the turkey, there's a Native American traditions, there's the turkey represented actually prosperity.
well, I have found through some of my research that there's a lot of different views in different Native American traditions that kind of really blew me away. And I did have some trouble doing some research, some in-depth research on the energies that go around the turkey, because it's a native North American, well, I shouldn't say North American, but it's a Native American bird. So there's not a lot of ancient traditions from other countries to pull on. So everybody's kind of really, and I'll get to reading what I have written down here. And it's like, for most of us in the United States, when we think of Thanksgiving, our first thought is of the bird that Benjamin Franklin wanted to be the national bird. Well, Franklin thought the turkey was an intelligent and stately bird. Nobody else really agreed with him, so it was not going to happen. The turkey actually wasn't considered a regular, if not mandatory, part of Thanksgiving meals until after commercial raising of the birds began. This is not to say that turkeys weren't on the menu. It's just that the commercialization made them bigger and heavier birds that could no longer fly, so you didn't have to go very far to catch them. Making it easier to find them in the grocery stores didn't hurt either. But don't worry, though, the wild counterparts can still fly because they're not as fat and heavy. For most of us, the turkey is a symbol of sacrifice, hard work, cooperation, dedication to ensure prosperity and abundance for the family, if not the entire community, rather than oneself. The core message of Thanksgiving celebrations. However, the energy of the turkey can vary widely, from intelligent to stupid and useless to a savior of worlds, depending on the peoples and the era and the season. The turkey, being a native bird of North America, comes with many stories from across the Native American peoples. Since First Nation people tended to use stories for teaching, the place a turkey held throughout traditions could really run the gamut. Some Plains people saw the turkey as a giveaway animal like the bison, sacrificing itself for the good of the people. And I think Elizabeth can elaborate a little bit more later on just what the concept of giveaway means.
Yes.
And I've lost my track here.
Giveaway.
Yeah, giveaway. Some people of the plains, okay, did that. Okay, for other groups, the turkey and the eagle were opposites, with the turkey being a representation of the Earth Mother, being more peaceful animal, and the counterpart, the eagle, being representative of Father Sky and more of a warrior. There are Navajo stories of the people progressing through different worlds, and one tells of angering a water monster and it sending a flood upon the land. Everyone scrambled to get to the top of the mountain and then climbed a reed to the next world as this world was being destroyed. The turkey was the last one up and the reed and arrived very rough looking from all the water and what he had been through to get up the reed. And the others made fun of his looks until he shook out his feathers and all the food seeds that he had hurriedly collected, making him the last one up the reed, fell out. Then everyone had to apologize because turkey's efforts meant survival for the rest. On a darker note, there is a Seminole tale that tells of a dark, evil turkey that would swoop down and take the heads off of people until a trusty dog got the better of it and it learned to fear dogs and humans. but it continues to wear the scalp of its last victim around its neck as what we now call its wattle. So now you know where that came from.
Oh, wow.
I thought that was an interesting story.
Yeah.
The last offering I have is a dark departure from the rest, as it is from the Dakota people who thought that the turkey was stupid and weak, so a warrior would refuse to eat the bird so as not to acquire those traits. While the majority of us still agree with Benjamin Franklin that the turkey is a noble creature that represents pulling out the best in ourselves for the greater good, but there's still all that's going to be somebody out there that's a detractor.
I love the turkey in the sense that, over the past, at least for me, the past 20, 30 years, it seems to be a lot more wild turkeys out there in Medina County. And I remember when I was working at the Winds of Change Life Enrichment Center, we would have a bunch of turkeys come in from the backwoods, and they'd hang around the front porch, and they'd leave feathers and everything. And I just remember we'd all go, "Yay, that's abundance, that's prosperity." They're visiting us. And, I think it's kind of fun to watch the turkeys. When we look at their characteristics, they are very agile. They can fly, and they can be fast.
Yeah, they can go up to 50 miles an hour.
Yeah, I mean, you cannot easily catch a turkey, that's for sure. It's not going to...
Unless it's a fat one from a commercial farm.
Right, unless it is that. So
those guys aren't never going to fly.
Right. And, and I think everyone, the turkey is, being a ground-dwelling bird is kind of similar to like the grouse in a way, or the partridge, or the grouse. I want to call it the grouse, but it's
that brings up
birds.
An interesting thing that I found, that people say, well, there were turkeys in Europe, but they really weren't what we consider a turkey. In Europe, it used to be turkey meant exotic, and so like a ruffled grouse would be considered a turkey, or a turkey grouse, because it was exotic.
Yeah, that's interesting. And yeah, they are interesting little characters for sure. So as you get yourself ready for Thanksgiving, it is also a good time that I would like to just, share with the audience, is that, Thanksgiving is a time when we show gratitude for everything that we have. Gratitude for having perhaps a roof over our head, food on the table, and it's a time to thank the Creator, your higher power, God, or whatever you want to call that force, and just take that time to be grateful for everything that you have been given. And that applies to, in the Seneca tradition, of what we call the field of plenty, or the cornucopia. And the Iroquois and the Seneca believed that the earth was a field of plenty, that everything you needed for shelter, for food, water, air, everything was provided. Everything was provided to you, handed to you, basically. And that we need to see that bigger picture when it comes to that. What you need is already here. What you need is already been created. And so the field of plenty is about connecting with having that concept of gratitude. And when we talk about giveaways, in tradition, a giveaway would be that in Native American tradition, if you acquired too much of something, if you had acquired like too many objects or things like that, that you would go out in the woods, you would bundle them up, and you would lay them on a path so that the next person that came by would get that. And it was a way of sharing and not being ego connected to possessions. And so even shaman would do that. They would bundle their most precious gemstones, or their pipes, or their tobacco, and they would bundle it and leave it in the woods, because they knew that by giving it away, something would come back to them. So in a sense, that's why with Thanksgiving we are, showing our gratitude, and we're, a lot of people go above and beyond. They feed the poor. I mean, or donate to a homeless shelter, or they want to do things that, share that gratitude that we have.
That giving back to the community.
Yeah. I mean, we, I think we're children of the earth. I mean, we have to not say that we worship. This is not about worshiping the earth, but we are children of the earth. We're in a spaceship called the earth, and everything we have is here. I mean, the wood for your house, the water to drink, the air to breathe. We have it all here. Everything has already been made, and so
As long as we take care of what we've been given.
yeah.
So we don't have a good track record there.
Well, we humans, we have not, but we got to be aware of it. So part of that, understanding that the field of plenty means that, all our needs are met by our Creator, that we need to, show our gratitude. We need to let go of doubt, and we need to use our childlike awe and be inspired by the things that are around us, that come to us, and to take the moment to think about what that product or what brought that energy into your life. I mean, when I think about all the trees that it took to, build a house, or the rocks or the stones, and someone had to, make a brick, or all those things. But all those things are, a lot of energy went in to manifest those things, and that they were given to us, or we bought it, but it was an equivalent exchange went on, I think. And so that's why even, rocks and trees and animals and all these things are here, and we show our gratitude.
Well, everything is interconnected.
Absolutely.
And it's like you take anything really out of the web, and something else really suffers for that.
Yeah, I think so. And so gratitude for Thanksgiving, however you want to do it. But, and giving away, in a sense, that's why giving to a charity or giving your time, I think, is very important around this time of year, that we're reminded that there are some people who do not have families. There are people who do not have a house. There are people that do not have these things. And we need to, take care of those people, I think. That's me.
Well, again, that goes back to the whole concept of focusing on the family and the community, instead of simply being focused on yourself and your own, perhaps, selfish needs.
Right, and showing compassion. I think that's,
I think that's another lesson that
we could go on.
Yeah.
We won't hit compassion yet.
Yeah, it's like, it's another thing that many of us need to still work on.
Yeah, that's hard.
It is.
I think it's hard. I think
when
in these
you feel
times,
like, when you're feeling desperate, or that things aren't really where you want your life to be, it can be difficult to think about what others people need.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have an email for people to reach us.
Oh, yes, yeah. We have the Fairy Godmothers pod at gmail.com. We can get that up on the screen there. There we go.
Yeah.
Oh, well, okay. No, I'm not Elizabeth. Thanks for the effort, or the vote of confidence.
There we go.
There, we got it.
And we also have a Facebook page.
Facebook page.
So,
yes, it's the Fairy Godmothers pod of I think it's W and K, because I couldn't get the wisdom and knowledge on there. But if you look up Fairy Godmothers pod, you should be able to find us in the search.
Yeah, we'd love to have you contact us. Follow us on Facebook, and we'll also post the show on Facebook. And you can catch the show
I've also got us a page on YouTube.
Yeah.
Fairy Godmothers pod of wisdom and knowledge on YouTube. So we got that going too.
And through BAT.
Well, it's available through BAT, and then we have our own YouTube channel now.
Yeah, cool. So you want to watch the show, listen to the show, whatever you want to do, that'd be great. Upcoming, we're going to have, we also are going to be doing readings, and we need people to, if somebody wants a reading, we need we need some volunteers, okay? I'm going to start posting on Facebook, see if we can get some people rounded up for the next show. But if you have any questions, ask. We will.
Yeah, you can email us. You could contact Elizabeth and make arrangements to, phone in and do their reading like that. We have options.
Yeah.
And it could be an astrological or tarot, or I could, do an animal energy reading on, for you. We have options.
Yeah. So we want more participation from the audience would be great. Although hey, I love listening talking to myself. At least that's what I've been told by my husband.
Well,
But yeah, so this Thanksgiving, think about the turkey, or your tofu turkey,
tofurkey.
tofurkey. That,
Or turducken if you really want to
Turducken.
get fancy, that's where you have your turkey and you stuff, what is it? Does it stuff a chicken into a duck and then the duck into the turkey? And I was like, I can't imagine how long it would take to cook something like that.
oh my gosh, I'll have to ask my son.
I've never had one. I've heard of it, but I've never had one.
But yeah, oh gosh. And for everyone who, is interested, like I said, we have the psychic fair coming up. You can contact us, about upcoming shows, and you can check our past shows on the.
Another thing to consider is if you have something going on in the metaphysical world that you would like to maybe be a guest on a show, we could do that too.
Yeah, authors. I think we have a few book people lined up, don't we?
Yeah, we do have a couple of book people lined up. But
Yeah, people. I think those are called authors, right?
Yes, yes. I knew there was a word for that. Doggone it, there's a word for everything.
Yeah, and some of them you can't say.
Well, I could probably say them, I just can't pronounce them. There's
Oh, well.
big difference there.
But we have to, unless the show's on after
Okay,
midnight.
so authors are an option if you have an event coming up that you'd like to, promote that perhaps would be in our line here.
Yeah.
Again, just give us a contact at the email that we can get you, see what we can do about getting you on.
Yeah, that would be great. And so we've been, like I said, fourth show. I can't wait till we get to 100.
Oh, well, we got a couple of months to go yet.
Yes, we do. So,
I guess we can round it up now.
All right. Well, I'm Reverend Elizabeth Howell. Thank you for joining us. And if you have any ideas, again, the Gmail, Fairy Godmothers Pod of Wisdom and Knowledge. Check us out. Look us up. And
Contact us.
and this is Reverend Cynthia.
Yeah, the Fairy Godmother of Mayhem and Snark.
And we want to thank you for joining us and tune back in.